Firelight flickers against stone walls. For 3,000 years, the world has argued over one question. Was the Trojan War a legend, or the first war history forgot how to remember? Beneath the poetry, beneath the gods, beneath the ashes, something real may still be buried. Before we uncover what myth tried to hide, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Elemental History, and join us as we strip legend down to the bones of history itself. The Trojan War lives in memory as spectacle. A beautiful queen, 1,000 ships, heroes who fought for honor, and gods who fought for sport. Homer's Iliad gives us Achilles, Hector, Agamemnon, men larger than life, moving beneath the constant gaze of Olympus. But Homer never claimed to be a historian. He was a poet, working centuries after the supposed war. And yet, poetry often preserves truths long after facts decay. The question is not whether Achilles was invincible. The question is whether a real conflict inspired the myth at all. Around 1200 BCE, the Eastern Mediterranean was collapsing. Great powers fell almost simultaneously. The Mycenaean Greeks, the Hittite Empire, Egyptian trade networks, dozens of coastal cities were erased from memory. This was not myth. This was systemic collapse. Trade routes failed. Cities burned. Palaces were abandoned. And on the western edge of Anatolia, a fortified city stood between worlds. In the 19th century, an archaeologist named Heinrich Schliemann excavated a mound in modern Turkey called Hisarlik. What he found was not one Troy, but many. 9 major layers. Cities built atop ruins, each destroyed, rebuilt, destroyed again. One layer, Troy VR, dated to around 1200 BCE, shows burned buildings, skeletons left unburied, signs of siege and panic. Houses were packed with storage jars, suggesting preparation for war. This was no poetic fantasy. This was violence. So, did the Mycenaean Greeks attack Troy? We know the Greeks of this era were seafaring, militarized, and desperate for resources. We also know Troy controlled access to the Dardanelles, a critical trade route between the Aegean and the Black Sea. Troy wasn't just a city, it was a choke point. Wars are rarely fought over love, they are fought over power. Now, this is where things get really interesting. Hittite tablets, discovered in modern Turkey, mention a city called Wilusa. Linguistically, this is incredibly similar to Ilios, the Greek name for Troy. The same tablets also mention a people called the Achaeans, who are almost certainly the Achaeans, the Mycenaean Greeks. These records describe political disputes, broken treaties, and military tensions. There are no gods, there are no heroes. There is just diplomacy and threat. So how does a regional conflict become an epic myth? The Trojan War, if it was real, was likely shorter than 10 years, smaller than Homer describes, and devoid of divine intervention. But memory does not preserve facts. It preserves meaning. As generations passed, raiders became heroes. Political disputes became epic destiny, and human suffering became divine drama. Myth wasn't deception. It was a way for a story to survive. What about the Trojan horse? There's no archaeological evidence that confirms a giant wooden horse. But ancient warfare was full of siege, deception, false retreats, bribery, and betrayal. The horse might represent a siege engine, a symbol of deception, or simply the final trick that ended a long, grueling struggle. Legends simplify realities. History complicates them. Troy fell, and soon after, so did the Mycenaean world. Within a few decades, literacy vanished across the region. Trade collapsed. History went silent. The Trojan War, whether real or simply remembered, marks the threshold between civilization and collapse. The Trojan War matters not because of its gods or its heroes, but because it represents a moment when human memory fractured. A real war, buried beneath layers of poetry. A true conflict, distorted by time into a legendary epic. And perhaps that is its greatest legacy. It reminds us that behind every myth, there's often a history waiting to be rediscovered. If you value history stripped of myth but respectful of memory, subscribe to Elemental History. Like this video and join us as we continue uncovering the wars that shaped civilization long before history learned how to write them down. Thank you for watching.